All right, we're going to check out the homework and see how you did. We got our quiz back and hopefully you did okay. And if you didn't, that's okay too. We're going to be working on it, and some of the things that we're going to be going over in this homework might help you out. Okay, so 8 positives and 12 negatives. I want you to think about these as two separate integers, right? If it was 8 degrees and it dropped 12, you were at -4. 13 minus 6, we all know the answer to that. 13 minus 6 is 7. Okay, you could count up if you wanted to. Here's where some of you were not showing the work. Okay, the opposite of a negative is a positive. You got to make sure that you write that and then rewrite it, right? The two signs become one. All right, you could also think about it as a big negative, a big negative. Just connect the negatives, and those two negatives become one big plus sign. Okay, 9 plus 12 is 21. Okay, next section. This is where I wanted you to show some work. All right, don't just use the mental math because you have a greater chance of getting the problem wrong. So I'm going to borrow. 17 minus 9 is 8, 1, and I have more positives than negatives. Always ask yourself that. So I get 18. Now, to line these guys up, I have negatives and negatives. When the signs are the same, what do? You add 173, 162. We're going to add those, and you get 335. And remember, since we're dealing with all negatives, your answer is negative. So negative 335. All right, next guy. These parentheses really aren't doing anything. It's 71 minus 123. So I have 71 positives. I have 123 negatives. You look at it like that. When the signs are different, what do? You subtract. 123 minus 71. You get 2, 12, and you get 52 negatives. Okay, so negative 52. Next in the problems, signs are different. So what do? Subtract 89 minus 51. You get 8, 38. And what do you have? You have more negatives than positives, negative 38. Okay, next one. The opposite of a negative is a positive. I'm going to rewrite it so you can see it. And again, when the signs are different, what do? You subtract because there's canceling going on. And let's see what we get. Borrow, you get 5, 0, 1, and you have more negatives than positives. So that means that my answer is negative 105. Next one, 843 minus 677. Okay, I'm going to have to borrow, and I get 6. I'm going to have to borrow again, and I get 6 again. And 7 minus 6 is 1. So I get 166. All right, next one. I got two negatives, right? So if I'm going negative direction, I'm adding the negatives. 183 and 98. You get 11, 18, 2. So 281, but remember, they're all negative, so I get negative 281. Next one, the opposite of a negative is a positive. I'm going to rewrite it. And see, I'm showing all the work for every problem. That's what I'm looking for. 15, 8, 9, and 7. 795. And if any time, at home, I might be going too fast, or maybe in class it's going too fast, you can always go back, rewatch the video, and pause it after a question, or rewind it, anything you need to do. Okay, next question, number 12. The opposite of a negative is a positive. You get negative 83 plus 48, because I'm rewriting it, minus 65. So what can you do? A lot of things, but what we're going to look to do is combine things that are alike, because I like adding better than subtracting. It's a little easier. 83 negatives and 65 negatives. Well, that gives you 148 negatives. Now check it out. If I have 148 negatives and I have 48 positives, check this problem, this expression out. Signs are different, so I'm going to subtract. And it kind of works out perfectly. I get 100, and when I get my 100, I always ask myself, do I have more positives or more negatives? And I've got more negatives, so that is negative 100. Now on to the easier problems. All right, number 13, 6 minus 9. I've got positives, negatives. I get canceling going on, so you subtract, negative 3. 14 minus 8, I'm just going to count up from 8 to 14. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That is 6. All negatives, what do? Add them, and you get negative 18. All negatives, what do? Add them, and you get negative 50. Opposite of a negative is a positive. Rewrite it. Negative 16 plus 16 is 0. And the final problem, the opposite of a negative is a positive. So I get 32 plus 17 minus 32. So do you see opposites here? Yes, they cancel. And you're just left with 17. So hopefully you did good on your homework. And again, if we were going a little bit too fast, you can always go back and rewind it and pause it, whatever you need to do to be successful. And if you're having trouble at this point, make sure that you come and see me or ask me questions. All right? Hopefully you guys are doing good and keep up the good work.